Judge Jackson, we are all just temporary occupants of the Senate, the House, even with a lifetime appointment to the highest court in the land. You, Judge Jackson, are one of Mr. Lincoln's living witnesses of an America that is unafraid of challenge, willing to risk change, confident of the basic goodness of our citizens. And you are a living witness to the fact that in America, all is possible. I now recognize my colleague and friend, the ranking member, Senator Grassley.
Judge Jackson, congratulations. Welcome to you and your family. I thank you for taking time to visit with me in my office after the President nominated you. Since President Biden announced his nominee for the Supreme Court, I've been encouraging my colleagues to schedule meetings with you, Judge Jackson, and they have come off. In addition, I've continually emphasized the need for a thorough, respectful process by the committee. Now I want to talk a bit about what everyone watching should expect from this hearing and what they shouldn't expect at the hearing. We will conduct a thorough, exhaustive examination of Judge Jackson's record and views. We won't try to turn this into a spectacle based upon alleged process fouls. Good news on that front, we're off to a very good start. Unlike the start to the Kavanaugh hearings,
and you are a living witness to the fact that in America, all is possible. I now recognize my colleague and friend, the ranking member, Senator Grassley.
Judge Jackson, congratulations. Welcome to you and your family. I thank you for taking time to visit with me in my office after the President nominated you. Since President Biden announced his nominee for the Supreme Court, I've been encouraging my colleagues to schedule meetings with you, Judge Jackson, and they have come off. In addition, I've continually emphasized the need for a thorough, respectful process by the committee. Now I want to talk a bit about what everyone watching should expect from this hearing and what they shouldn't expect at the hearing. We will conduct a thorough, exhaustive examination of Judge Jackson's record and views. We won't try to turn this into a spectacle based upon alleged process fouls. Good news on that front, we're off to a very good start. Unlike the start to the Kavanaugh hearings, we didn't have repeated choreographed interruptions of Chairman Durbin during his opening statements, like Democrats interrupted me for more than an hour during my opening statement on the Kavanaugh hearings. What we will do, however, is ask tough questions about Judge Jackson's judicial philosophy. In any Supreme Court nomination, the most important thing that I look for is the nominee's view of the law, judicial philosophy, and view on the role of a judge in our constitutional system. I'll be looking to see whether Judge Jackson is committed to the Constitution as originally understood. We all know there's a difference of opinion about the role judges should play. Some of us believe that judges are supposed to interpret the law as it was understood when written, not make new law or simply fill in vacuum. Those of us who share that view think that under our Constitution, Congress and not the federal courts are given the authority to make law and to set policy. Now, there are others who believe that the courts should make policy. They believe in a so-called living Constitution. They think that the Constitution's text and structure don't limit what a judge can do. To them, deciding what the Constitution means is really a quote-unquote value judgment. Under that approach, judges can exercise their own independent value judgments. One of the leading advocates for this approach explained that as a judge, you, quote, reach the answer that essentially your values tell you to reach, end of quote. In other words, those who subscribe to this philosophy think that the founders really meant to hide elephants in mouse holes. Then, with a bit of creativity, these judges can always find that elephant. That sounds like a good job description instead for legislators and not for judges. But for at least 4 years, Democrats systematically voted against many well-credentialed nominees that were diverse professionally, diverse geographically, diverse religiously, and diverse ethnically. Was it racist or anti-women for them to do so? I don't believe that it was. Democrats did it because the nominees didn't agree with living constitutionalism, just as Republicans have opposed nominees based upon their judicial philosophy. There are lots of problems with living constitutionalism. In the Senate, we spend a lot of time writing legislation. We argue over the language. We negotiate over how broad or narrow certain provisions of laws should be. If we can't convince our colleagues to adopt all of our ideas, we have been known to compromise every once in a while. We depend on judges to interpret laws as we write them. If judges impose their own policy preferences from the bench and essentially revise the laws we pass, it makes it harder for us to write good laws. Sometimes we need to include a provision that's very broad to get a colleague's support. If a judge rewrites the law later because of vague notions about fairness or equity or common good, that unravels all of our work here in the Congress. More importantly, the American people should be able to read a law and know what it means. They shouldn't have to ask how a federal judge who disagrees with the law could reinterpret the words on that page. All of this leads to the conclusion as to why we must carefully examine federal judges' records, especially Supreme Court nominees. Judge Jackson has served as an assistant public defender, worked in private practice, and served on the United States Sentencing Commission. She also served as a federal district court judge from 2013 to 2021. She served on the D.C. Circuit since June last year. I'm sure senators will have a few questions for Judge Jackson about the 2 opinions she's authored since joining the D.C. Circuit. As for her district court record, there have been some accusations that we cherry-pick some of